We are live on No Driving Gloves. What was Will saying? I don't know.
Come on, Will.
Yeah.
John does the
throw off.
I gotta do what I can to screw it up.
I'm trying to do a nice, what do you call it? Aggressive, hip radio DJ voice. You know, we're live here on No Driving Gloves, and we got Will and we got Derek, and we screwed up because I forgot and deleted the theme song off my little board here. So, you know, welcome to No Driving Gloves, where three hosts, you know, Derek, Will, and John get together and we chat about cars. Da 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 da. Brought to you by J. Lewis Productions. And Big Oak Garage. But so it's a little show with just us three for the first time in a couple of weeks. Sat down with Greg a couple of weeks ago and chatted about some stuff. Sat down with Copart last week and made me want to spend too much damn money. At least I got something to do at night when I'm laying in bed when I'm just supposed to be watching TV. What are you guys doing anything exciting? I don't care what you did this week. So.
Just sharing our live feed on my Facebook page.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh, fancy.
When Will shares, we get actually viewers usually.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have.
No kidding.
So, you know, we shared it the Facebook page this week. We've got a new thing going on. If you follow our Instagram for sure, doing a daily this week in automotive history. And, you know, the seatbelt was patented earlier this week, that old famous Volvo story about the seatbelt. I think tomorrow in history, the Carmen Ghia was introduced to the world. I mean, we've had some pretty interesting.
Ooh, you know, actually, John, that would be a better twist for our show. Instead of doing today in history, we need to start tomorrow in history.
Ooh,
and write about what happened tomorrow in history.
I like that. Maybe I'll change it up. Follow us on Instagram to see if John listens to Derek. So why I brought up social media, not necessarily to say, you know, like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram or go to the website, nodrivinggloves.com, was we did share a post from this little shop in, you know, kind of nowhere, Alabama, that they trucked on up to Ohio and they did some kind of cool things this weekend. Will, how was your weekend in Ohio?
Well, it was busy. First off, got up there. Well, on the way up there, Wednesday we had to stop in Chattanooga. The Rocket Camaro and the Rocket 280Z was actually in a really, really bad crash in the trailer Wednesday morning on their way to Columbus. So totaled the truck, totaled the trailer. Luckily, the cars wasn't hurt too bad. So we stopped in Chattanooga to check out the two cars, you know, that we'd built to make sure they were okay and make sure Darren was okay that was driving the truck and trailer. And luckily, Darren was okay, and both the cars had, you know, minimal damage for what the truck and trailer went through. So that's how I started off the trip to Columbus. We got there Thursday morning, had a photo shoot with for ET Motor Gear. Got something cool to announce about that in the coming up future. Can't really say anything right now.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead. Tell us.
Rod might kill me.
That's a might. You didn't say will kill you. It's a might. Let's take the risk.
Yeah. So then met up with Robert McGaffin, who we've had on the podcast before, one of the owners of Wheel Hub, Chevy Hub, Mustang Hub, Truck Hub, and he shot the 57 that we brought up there for Chevy Hub magazine. So I mean, we started off pretty strong.
Don't just skate over that, because we're planning on having the Wheel Hub guys back to talk about another magazine, I believe. So
right.
That's a ball in Will's court. So when he gets a minute,
they're definitely wanting to come back on. So we'll get those guys on soon. So, you know, just went to the show Friday, hung out, had a good time, got to see a bunch of my friends I hadn't seen in hell a year.
Wait. We got to make fun of John because he almost ruined the big news because he just flashed his screen at the inappropriate time.
I always flash at the inappropriate time. Well, actually, is there really an inappropriate time to flash?
No, not at all. So we go back to the show on Saturday, parking the Builder's Choice. They don't really judge at Good Guys. They do picks, but in the picking area, or one of them, they have several.
Oh, episode 145, if you want to go back and learn about Truck Hub, Wheel Hub, etc. So
there you go. So, we're hanging out there, and Good Guys started a new award this year called the Chevrolet Builder of the Year. And honestly, I hadn't really read much about it. I've seen where certain guys have won it, Bobby Alloway, Jonathan Goolsby, Weaver Customs. I can't remember all of them that's won it right now, but big name guys are winning this award. And Saturday afternoon, about 3:30, Harry from Good Guys walks up and congratulates me and lets me know that I'd won the Chevrolet GM Iron Builder of the Year finalist. So, I was very surprised at that. I mean, the 57 that we took up there, don't get me wrong, it is a nice car. But I personally didn't feel that it was one of the nicest GM cars there. I mean, it really holds a candle, but it's not an over the top build. It was built, for Mark Shaver up in upstate New York, and he didn't want an over the top car. He didn't want something that was so nice that he was scared to drive, and he had, a war pension in. So I mean, it's a well built 57 Chevy. It's straight as an arrow. It's got great gaps. It's got good interior. It's nice underneath, but it just don't have all those custom, cut touches that we find ourselves doing here at Big Oak, which is cool to me because the 57 Chevrolet looks really, really good anyway. You don't have to cut them up to have a really cool car. So to get that award with a stock bodied 57 was pretty special. So I guess the biggest thing about that car is the engine compartment. It does have a supercharged 572 with a Magnuson supercharger. It's all EFI, and man, this thing pounds the ground. It is very aggressive. So that's probably what separated that car from all the other cars there, with it being a General Motors Performance Crate 572 that we supercharged. So I have a feeling that's probably one of the big things that got the car the attention that it got last weekend in Columbus. So when you win that award, when you win a finalist with Good Guys, you get a small feature in the Gazette. So after they gave us the award, hooked up with John Jackson, who was there shooting a lot of cars for Good Guys that weekend, and had another photo shoot. So three photo shoots in one weekend. I think that's the first time that I've ever had to do that. It was. But
you only had what? One car there or two cars there?
One.
Three photo shoots with one car, I'm assuming, because you weren't posing for any magazines.
No, they don't want my ugly mug in there. They want the car. So that's what transpired this past weekend at Good Guys. I was very, very pleased, very overwhelmed with what we won with that car, and looking forward to October when they announce the winner, because I'm in the running for Builder of the Year now. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah. I figured you were kind of busy. I think I heard Derek, but I'm going to overstep Derek here. Because
I said very nice, but you're talking over me.
Yeah. Well, you're the one who forgot your microphone, so It's that DJ thing. I turned my mic up louder than everybody else. I was doing my little side hustle computer gig on Saturday, and I actually called you because I had somebody come in with a question. And I figured I was going to mention it on the podcast because maybe some of your friends are listening. And I called you because you might know the answer.
Me?
Yep.
Oh.
Why the heck doesn't Holly put on their website what the basic parameters are for a computer to program their EFI system? If you search it, all you do is you go to Holly forums. Why wouldn't Holly put on their website that if you're buying the Holly, was it the Intimidator system or something? It would say you need a Windows 10 computer or a Windows 7 computer, or because this guy was trying to decide whether or not he could buy the cheap Windows 10S machine or the Windows 10. And I figured I'd call my buddy Will, and Will didn't pick up. And we actually got a hold of Holly at like 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning and got our answer. But why the heck isn't it on the website? Next time you're talking to your buddies at Holly, nice, simple thing that would come in handy, because if I wasn't a car geek selling computers and I was just a computer geek, no offense, computer geeks, we would have really been in trouble.
Well, I only heard like every other word.
I heard every word. I'm a little offended because, I mean, Holly teaches their classes at the Corvette Museum like every couple of weeks. They're actually there right now. But who does John call? A Will, because Will builds the cars. He doesn't call Derek, who all he's got to do is walk around the corner and talk to one of the main guys from Holly about everything.
Yeah, Derek,
or drive down the street to their world headquarters.
Well, maybe because Will's been to the class and you just watch them walk in the building.
If I'm going to call Derek about something, it's going to be about gravity feed carburetors, or what was that one you were working on lately that had a wick or something?
Yeah,
So,
hot tube ignition, something like that.
Derek, take that on for yourself. Wander down the hall tomorrow and say, "Hey, John on the podcast, since he's all knowing, willing, he'll do anything in the world, and he's always right. He says you guys need to do this for your website because it would make it easier for him to sell a computer." Which I did sell a computer for the company.
I'll have you your answer tomorrow.
So that was my thing. Did you have anything exciting happen for you, Derek, in the last couple of weeks or days? Or
for the first time in my life and in my career, I can feel like Will, because I can sit here and say, I had to do some photos this weekend. I had to do a little photo shoot this weekend for something I can't talk about. And oddly, October is going to be a big month because the announcement comes out in October. So, but I'm like Will, I can't really talk about it. They'd kill me. But first time in my life I can say that. So,
when you were on last week and we were talking to the gentleman from Copart, and that was if anybody hasn't caught our Copart show, go back, take a listen to it. We learned a heck of a lot about Copart, and like I said, I've spent a bunch of time on there pretending to shop. It's like I used to do on eBay. But you had your car in the background, nice green screen because you were on the office computer, or you were on a better computer. I don't know exactly where you were at, and you we never heard. How did you do at your most recent outing with your vehicle? Did it strike up the interest and curiosity that the Derek Moore would expect?
Well, I mean, it got a lot of attention. I was judging, so I wasn't able to at the concourse, so I wasn't able to be around it the whole time. But one of our listeners that's I think is pretty sure is listening tonight is the gentleman I purchased the vehicle from, but I never have my cars judged at an event if I am a judge. I don't feel that it's right to do that. So didn't have the car judged. So in that case, wouldn't win any kind of awards, anything like that. But definitely got attention, saw a lot of people looking at it. I did get a chance to talk to a few people about it and kind of the unique nature of the car and its history, which, of course, as everybody that listens to the podcast knows, we're still trying to figure out who the heck built the car up in Canada. And if there's any leads out there, I would love to have them and try to figure that out. But definitely got attention, definitely got some looks when we were hauled up to go. A lot of questions everywhere we stopped for gas or food, and had people even at stoplights rolling down windows, honking their horns, asking what in the heck it was. And all that. So definitely got a lot of attention and a lot of curiosity around what the heck that thing is. So,
well, tell us what you took. You still hadn't told us.
John did just tell us. If you watch the show, it was the green screen last week.
Yes, but we are an audio podcast. If you watch the video, that's a bonus. But for our, we have a lot of audio listeners, and we don't have a lot of video listeners.
I can go back. I can go ahead and tell you, I'm not going to go back and watch the live from last week.
Yeah, we know you won't, Will. Yeah, no,
I have the what do I want to say? The insights. Nobody in Bowling Green and nobody in Hoax Bluff listens to the podcast. So,
oh yeah, we're gonna need to talk about that because
thanks, Mom and Dad, appreciate
it. Yeah,
but I talked over Derek again as he was saying the Lloyd. So
yes, I took the Lloyd to the Cincinnati Concours at Holt Park. That is what we're talking about. They had a microcar class this year. Took it up there. Had a good time. Yes. Are you happy now, Will?
Sure. I knew it was the Lloyd, but I didn't know, the people that are listening live right now would probably like to know what you were talking about.
Yeah. I named the episode a little self-centered because I
was going to say, why is tonight's show called John Eats Crow? Because we didn't really have a pre-show here.
I don't know if either one of you are enlightened to my 2-decade relationship with the mini car company, the BMW mini car company. Do either one of you know how my relationship started with them?
Did it involve mini trucks?
I know the first time you came to Big Oak Garage, you was in one.
Yeah, that was Amanda's. That was her black Ray edition. And that was the first step, because in 2001, me and my ex-wife, we ordered and would have had one of the first 20 Mini Cooper S's ever delivered. And the dealership we ordered from had excuses. And all of a sudden, we're 4 months into deliveries and nobody at this dealership has received a Mini. And turns out, well, they're just sitting on our money and they have no intention of ever even opening a Mini dealership for reasons that have now been eliminated by Mini, because at the time you had to build a separate showroom and that, and this BMW dealership felt that, they'll waive that. Well, it took them 18 years to waive that. So they sat on our money and it was pretty much a huge deposit on the car. But we got it back and Virginia required you to pay interest on it. So it's not like the money went to waste. So I despised Mini until Fiat upset me. And we went and drove by a Mini dealership. And I posted it on Facebook. And the Stephanie from the Fiat dealership lambasted me for that. And ever since then, she's blocked me from Facebook. But Amanda and I went and bought a Mini, and hers was okay. Hers was black with a black lower interior and a black upper interior. And it always felt claustrophobic to me. And it was just a standard Cooper's and a little anemic. And well, I decided to re-enter the car world today, and the car pictured behind me, I went ahead and bought. So it only took 20 years for me to forgive Mini for screwing me out of one of the first ones. And I stumbled across this 2020. It's a used car, 600 miles on it, and a crazy, stupid price. So I at least now have a car I won't feel stupid going into car shows with. And the crazy thing is, it's not costing me anything more than my Ford did. And my Ford was worth stupid, crazy money on trade because I got almost as much as I paid for it 18 months ago. So
Nice.
I'm a little bit back into the car world. I told everybody I'm going to start crawling back into it. And honestly, the biggest thing that put me into a Mini, it wasn't the price or anything. It's the people. And again, that's why we're here. And that's kind of the point is, I'm eating crow saying, hey, I went out and bought a Mini. But it was the people. Because every time I gave all the tours while I was at Barbers to the Mini Club, I think I gave 6 tours, one a year to the Mini Club. And they're great people. And they always welcome me. And whether or not I had a Mini with me or whether, anything, I went on drives with them. They're one of the most active clubs in the area. And they even put it on their website. It's part of Mini's marketing. You go through their brochure, their 2022 brochure, about 10 pages in, it says, and every car comes with friends and they list the gatherings and stuff the Mini people do. And it just everything seemed right and felt right. So for those people that have known me 2 decades and have heard me bitch and whine and cry about Minis, and I think a lot of you know that I'm bitching and crying, and I don't think I'll ever forgive Fiat. But like I said, I've got me a new toy, and I don't have to whine about my practical Ford anymore. So that was my big stepping stone.
So you're saying a Mini is impractical?
Well, it's not as practical as you could be.
Yeah.
It's not as practical as you could be for that amount of money, because that amount of money will buy you a really nice Ford Fusion, Ford Escape, buy you a decent Dodge Charger. I mean,
if you wanted a big group of friends and really come for the car, stay for the people, you could have just went out and got a Corvette. I mean, that's.
But then I have to buy new shoes, and I don't buy shoes that often, and I don't own any New Balance shoes today at this time.
You'd have to buy some shorts too.
Yeah. I don't wear shorts. If I swam, I probably would swim in long pants. I don't think other than gym class in high school, I don't think I've put on shorts since 4th grade. And I skipped gym class quite often in high school. Only had to attend 1 day a week.
So you don't go swimming ever?
I went swimming. Let's see. I've been with Zara for 3 years. I was with Amanda for 7. I went swimming 10 years ago. And prior to that, I might have went swimming. No, I would doubt I did. I'm thinking I might have went swimming when my ex-wife and I, before we were married, went to Las Vegas. But yeah, so no, I probably haven't been in a pool other than one time since high school swimming. So no, I don't do water sports in all definitions of the word. So
speaking of pools and relating it to cars, a friendly reminder from No Driving Gloves: don't try to race your vehicles on the street. Hopefully everyone saw the news of the C8 that wound up in the pool with somehow 3 passengers in it. 2 of those were killed in the incident. But, just another one of those friendly reminders that, obey the laws on the street. Don't go speeding at 150 mile an hour around a 15 mile an hour turn. Sorry, I had to bring it back to the car world, John.
Well, I understand, and it brought pools into it, but it brought a kind of a downer. And I'm going to throw something out there since you're on the downer thing.
Not on a downer. I'm just trying to remind people to drive safe.
Well, we had I had to take a comment down on Facebook this week. I'm not going to mention what it is or anything, but we felt it was very politically related, and we don't get political on No Driving Gloves. as I've said, we'll talk about anything, but we really try to leave politics at the door. There's no winner in the situation usually. And I made the contrast. If Joe Biden called me today and said, "Hey, I want to come on and talk about my Corvette," guess who you're going to hear? You're going to hear but Joe Biden. And on the same thing, and I'm going to say the horrible words to some people, if Donald Trump called me today and said, "Hey, I want to talk about my Lamborghinis," guess who you're going to hear? Because I don't care about the politics. I care about the cars. And I just wanted to apologize to those that participated in that comment. That's why it came down. We want to keep it fun. If you want to talk politics, talk politics. There's a lot of other Facebook pages for it, but we'll just drop that one there. It's, I wanted to explain it, but I didn't want to explain it on Facebook and let people have really a lot of opportunity to comment. Now they'll comment on the show. But so we did that. And I wrote down, what was the other? Oh, Resto Mods.
And we're back.
Yes. Because I was quiet during our interview with Greg, and Will had brought up his conversation about Resto Mods, and Derek jumped in, and I just backed off into the corner. And because I don't have a problem with the term, I know you two do. And the term Resto Mod to me is a modified restoration, which is that
Modified.
not what they are?
It's modified.
Yes.
It's not restored at that point in time. It is modified.
When you're doing the restoration, I guess I look at it as you could go ahead and take, I'm trying to think of something. Well, Derek put up the new No Driving Gloves promo vehicle, which is like a 58 Cadillac DeVille Cadillac limousine.
I didn't put it up. I just sent it to you guys.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't put
Derek's
it up anywhere.
in
Nobody knows that I sent
negotiation.
it.
Derek's in negotiation for this thing. So it would be like if we totally restored that car and then we said, we don't want this 50s era engine in. We want to put, well, I'm going to say we want to put a Chevrolet V8 in it, but that's a 50s era engine. But, and then we go and put a 50s era engine. Just during the restoration, we're choosing not to put it back original. We're just modifying as we go on. And I think that's where the term Resto Mod comes in. It's a modified restoration. The car's been brought back.
What does restoration mean? What does the word restoration mean?
Well, it depends. Is it an original restoration? Is it a restoration? It's to bring something back to represent history.
It's a restoration is to put something back the way it came. That is a restoration. Modification is, okay, you're going to make it nice, but you're going to modify it and either make it nicer than what it was or change the way it was. That's modification.
So
It's
Will,
two different things.
Wait, I'm going to be that guy right now because in that definition, pretty much every restoration done in the country today, in the world today, is a modified restoration.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Because if you're going to go with the true definition of a restoration, there's really no way to restore something back to exactly when it came out of factory. You're going to modify something. Most guys, unfortunately, in some cases tend to decide to paint their 20s era car with base coat clear coat, and it looks horrible because the car never looked like that originally. I'm sorry, a Model T should not have a base coat clear coat on it that looks like a brand new Toyota coming out of the factory. And nobody's going to take the time to sit there and, very few people, I do know a few that have done it, but very few people, one or two in the world, will actually brush paint an early car to make it look appropriate.
Tell Dave hi for me.
And, if you do everything you can possibly do to put your car back original, as close to as it was when it came off the showroom floor, I'll give it to you. That's a restoration. All right. Because there's no way that you can put a Model T exactly the way it came off the showroom floor. You can't do it. That paint is not available. You know, the rivets aren't available. I mean, there's just certain things that you just cannot physically get anymore. I understand that. And yes, that is to me, that's a restoration. If you put a car back original, it is a restoration. If you take a car that had drum brakes from the factory or no brakes from the factory, you put brakes on it, you've modified that car. All right. And the example that John used, if you do an engine swap, no, that is not nowhere near a restoration. You have changed and modified that car. It turns into a custom car at that point in time.
Okay, now wait, stop right there, because I want to, and this is just playing devil's advocate, throwing a theory out there. So, what about restoring? So, I'll take my '74 Pontiac GTO that I had,
okay,
and put it back completely original. I mean, my dad and I went through everything we could to make sure that car was completely original. Sorry, I'm reading the comment.
Better to talk politics than resto mods from Mr. Brooks out there.
Very, very true, Mr.
I'll get more pissed off talking about resto mods in politics. I promise.
It's way more fun. But what if? So what? And it had the original. The engine was original. The codes all match. I mean, it was the engine that came in the car. Transmission was the transmission in the car. All that. But there are people that like to, take that, and you've got the original engine. Okay, so it is the original Pontiac 350 V8. Punch it out 30 over and add a hot cam.
It's modified.
What's your definition?
It's modified.
Resto mod.
No.
But is it modified completely, or is it a resto mod because it is the original block, original numbers matching, everything would match if somebody checked it out, but the internals have been changed slightly to give it more power.
Here's why I say that. You hot rodded that engine. You put a cam in it, you added compression, you added cubic inches, you hot rodded that engine. You gave it more power than what the executives at Pontiac or the government allowed them to put in that car. You changed it. It's modified. At that point in time, it's not a restoration. Now, what you could do is buy another engine, build it the way you want it, make it a hot rod, slide it in there, restore your other engine, and guess what? If you want it to be a restored car, pull your hot rod engine out, slap your original engine in. I mean, that's how hot rodding started, was pulling your engine out and giving it more power and putting it back in. That's where the term hot rod come from. It's not a resto mod. No such thing.
Well, you've asked in both shows, and you've never let me answer the question. What is the definition of restoration? The action of returning something to a former owner, place, or condition. So we're talking condition.
Right.
And I totally agree. And what I'm saying is, if I take a 65 Mustang GT and I totally restore it and I make it perfect, and we'll say I even went back in time and I got, everything, so it's the original paint. It's literally exactly how it came off of the production line. And then I decided, no, I wanted a faster motor. And so I go ahead and put a Coyote V8 in it, which I'm going to modify the car to do. But I've restored it and now I've modified it. Hence, it's a resto mod because it's explaining the actions that have happened in that car's life. It has been restored. The only difference what people are doing that are building these resto mods is they're not wasting the money to put that original 289 4-barrel in there. They are skipping that step and just putting the Coyote in to begin with.
So you're going to put a Coyote motor with 500 horsepower and a stock Mustang with drum brakes, little bitty tires, and everything else. That's what you're going to do.
Living on the edge.
I'm asking a question here.
Well, I'm basically saying is it's kind of like your analogy earlier. If I built that car and then I hot rodded out a 289 and swapped it in and out of the car, now I've got to. You weren't going as far as, well, I got to upgrade the transmission, I got to upgrade the drive shaft, I got to upgrade the differential, I got to upgrade the brakes.
That's what happens.
But that's what happens. But I'm saying instead of wasting all the time and money of putting it all the way back to that stock 65 car and then modifying it, I'm choosing, as I'm, quote, restoring it, to modify my actions during the restoration.
At that point in time, it is modified. It's a street machine. It's a hot rod. It's whatever you want to call it. It's not a restoration.
But you just said it's whatever you want to call it.
Not put it back to the way it former was.
But here, and that is the problem. And I think I said it the last time we had this conversation about terminology that's being used in the automotive, the collector car hobby industry, whatever you want to call it, is that people are just calling things whatever they want. This may be a way to put it to rest, because I think everybody's I'm kind of on Will's side here. I don't like these labels and these terms because I don't think they're fitting. But here's the question: if you have an all original car, an unrestored car, and if anybody does this, I will never talk to you again, Will. If you have a completely original, untouched car, let's say, somebody rolls into Will's shop, they've got let's take a Bel Air, 1956 Chevy Bel Air, completely original, untouched. This thing has 5,000 miles on it. They pulled it out of a little old lady's garage. Everything's perfect. They walk into Will's shop and they say, well, it's just got the little V8 in it. I want to LS swap it. Does it go out into the world being a Rigimod?
Rigimod.
Call it an Rigimod?
I love it.
It goes out into the world as a modified original, but I like the term Origimod. Maybe I'm going to change the name of the episode, Origimod.
Origimod. That's hilarious.
But seriously, is that you would not? It would be a modified or a hot rod at that point. And like I said, if Will ever does it, I'll never talk to him again, because
I've already done it, so don't feel bad.
All right,
that's a perfect example.
That right there is being done every day.
I know
it's a perfect example of it. Doing it yesterday, doing it today, and doing it tomorrow.
It needs to stop on original cars. I don't care if you do it to a field find rust bucket, but if it's a nice original car, try to leave it alone, please. That's fine.
Apparently, you didn't see pictures of the Dart before we started on it. It was a really nice original car.
Hey, Will, have you heard about that exhibit that I've got at the museum now called Corvette Powered?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, there's a really cool Riddler Award winner in there.
Yeah, it was probably a really nice original Impala when it came to Chip Fuchs' shop, too.
I understand that was taken right off of an old gentleman's GM showroom with the window stickers still stuck to it before Chip took it.
No. So anyway, you're not going to call it an Origimod, okay?
Well, I had another thing that would create arguments and discussions, but I think we'll wait for another episode. We'll wait for another episode on the manual transmission, automatic transmission discussion.
We've still got 20 minutes. Come on.
We still got 20 minutes. Let me pop over
still got
here.
20 minutes on Resto Mod.
No, I told Will we wouldn't dwell on it for 20 minutes.
Oh,
Oh, y'all gonna drive me to drinking?
But be careful. We don't believe Copart is actually selling that hot rod Lincoln.
yes. Yeah, that's a little, yeah. But always remember, drive to the drinking, never drive after the drinking. Another PSA from No Driving Gloves.
You may as well just take the Uber there and take the Uber back.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to quickly flip through, and somehow I'm on all these cool custom pickups, and I don't want to go down.
Speaking of Uber,
Not even cool stock pickups.
Speaking of Uber and Lyft, I think they need to add maybe a classic Uber or antique and classic Uber where you can show up in your antique car, just roll up in my 31 Chrysler to pick some people up, and then maybe they need the Resto Mod Uber where you show up in a Resto Mod and
what's a Resto Mod? I've still never seen one.
I wouldn't know what you're going to show up in, Derek.
Unicorn.
But seriously, I think it'd be cool if some company did that. Now, insurance, things like that would probably be insanity, but I feel like we need some kind of service out there where people can show up and, go on Uber or Lyft or something and be able to get rides in antique cars.
Haggerty's got something close to that ride.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, you brought it up, and I'm going to have to say his name. It's like an Uber for classic cars. Now, Richard Rawlings. It's like an Uber for classic cars. Now, that's something I can get behind. Check out our friends at Rock and Roll Rides.
I'm going to leave now.
At richardrawlings.com or something like that.
I got to stop sharing my ideas on this podcast.
Well, you've got to start having some original ones. This is a Kickstarter idea. Let me see how old it is.
It wasn't my idea. It was my original idea. You know what Richard Rawlings is doing? He's modifying it.
Well, what his problem is, he did this too early. This was a Kickstarter that ended October 27th, 2015. Richard Rawlings wasn't over the top famous by then. If he'd do this now, he was trying to raise $50,000 and they raised $11,928. So I think if he did it now, he'd have no problem raising the $50,000.
He'd just pull it out of his pocket.
He walks around with a wad like that all the time, according to TV. Always got to have that cash ready. And it looked like they were going to have locations in Detroit, Raleigh, St. Louis, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth. Where the hell
they just need to do it. You just need to do it like Uber, where you just submit your car and go from there.
Well, that was the other one. It was an Quora question when I Googled Derek's thing, and that Uber will let you run a classic car if you're a commercial account and have multiple vehicles or something. I'm just saying what was posted to Quora. Don't know how intelligent or how accurate that statement is, but
last time I looked into it, there were a bunch of you couldn't do it with Uber because there were all the insurance things of seat belts and all the safety things. So you wouldn't be able to use anything, pre the late 70s, essentially.
Yeah, you had to have. It's got to be a certain year model.
But would you really like to roll up in your 1919 Chevrolet to, use a club from my youth, Big Al's, and have some guy come stumbling out of that strip club drunk at 1 a.m. and get in your car and you get about halfway home and he redecorates your interior with.
But that's the thing with the 1919. You put the top down, you pull it into a car wash, and you hose the whole thing down. Done.
So you're saying you're the designated driver at my next party.
we just had a pretty good comment on Facebook Live here. How big is too big on wheels? This could be very interesting, being that a lot of the early cars had big wheels.
Size doesn't matter.
Width matters, though.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah,
I
you
just
like them
watched
this wide.
Well, that's an interesting question, is because I mean there are antique cars out there that have 24, 26, 30-inch rim. You know, I mean they're massive. I'm trying to remember the
rims. Did
Yeah.
you say rims?
rims.
Okay.
Why?
We did skip over Mr. Harris's comment back. Is a partner with Haggerty Drive Share would be cool. Other than if you go back 3 episodes and listen to Derek and I's discussion about Haggerty.
Wait, I want to go back. What? Was there a problem that I said rims?
No.
Will gets real picky about rims and wheels and tires and the terminology.
We got to remember.
If that's what you want to call them, that's fine.
Will's
yeah. Derek's talking pre-war stuff.
490s, all the early cars had what were called demountable rims. The rim actually demounts off the wheel to change the tire. So they did have that size rims.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know why you call them rims.
Yeah.
Because that was the term for then. So
it would be cooler to have rocket racing rims rather than rocket racing wheels, though.
No.
It would be triple R instead of double RW.
No. No.
So anyway, back to our conversation. Yes, I mean, antique cars, I mean, there have been massive wheels out there since very early on. So I don't think any wheel's too big as long as it's appropriate for the car. Now, I mean, if you get into hot rodding and resto modding and stuff like that, who cares?
I'm on a hot rod, on a vintage hot rod. There's some cars out there you can put some 22s on, like a big Cadillac or something like that. But generally a 20 is about as big as I would like to go, or is what I'm going to go on the cars and the styles that we build at Big Oak. And you got these stupid ass trucks out there that are squatting in the back, and I mean they're running 28s with mud tires like that. I mean, it makes no sense to me at all. If you like it, hey, that's great. I don't fault you for that, but definitely not my style, and I don't really like looking at them, to be honest with you.
I mean, it does go back to your style, what you like. I mean, that Edge Sport had factory 22s on it. It's one reason I like the truck, and probably why I bought it, because the wheels were cool on it. But when you get in, I mean, it really depends. If it's a daily, you don't need anything bigger than really a 22. You got to have some sidewall, and otherwise you're breaking wheels all the time. But 30s and 34s on your Camaro.
Yeah, no, I'm out.
That I would say, in answer to the question that was proposed, is if you don't have to modify your wheel well just for an aesthetic purpose, maybe, when you've got to start going into your Camaro or whatever and modifying that fender so that your tire fits in it, that might be the rule. But again, if you like it and you got the money, I mean, how big is too big? As long as the tire fits the wheel and there's a wheel to fit the tire. And that's where I say it gets into the cigar game too, is if somebody's willing to make part A to fit part B and part B to fit part A, you're good. But at some point, somebody's going to say, wait a second, we don't need 43-inch tires. We're only going to sell 8 of them. So that's what's going to dictate it, is if people would just quit buying them. But until then, I don't think there's a maximum. It's kind of like, is there really a minimum? I mean, we get down to 12-inch wheels on some things. Lots of luck ever finding a tire for them. But.
There are some trucks being built, some late model trucks that are, bagged and body dropped with 24s, 28s, and some of those do look pretty cool.
Well, if you're gonna see, you get into that, your body drops, so the body hits the floor.
Right.
If you can put a wheel and tire package on there that you don't have to put a wheel well in your hood, you don't have to raise the hood.
Right.
I think you're okay. But we're going to get to the point that people are going to start having that tire start peeking out over that hood lip or that bed lip.
That's already being done, and I don't really like it. But
yeah.
There's a shop in Oklahoma, I think, called Fat Fabs, and that's kind of their big thing right now. Is I think they done one that had 30s on the back, like a regular cab new Chevrolet truck. I don't know if it had 30s on the front, but I think it had 30s on the back. And it looked pretty badass. I would personally never do anything like that, but I enjoy looking at it.
I saw, and it was the weirdest thing. Of course, I'm a fan of open wheel racers, especially like brass era, early stuff. I kind of dig the look of a fenderless hot rod, stuff like that. But I saw, and I understand it for the purpose of rock crawling and off-roading and things like that. But I saw a Jeep on the way to work the other day that they'd put such big tires on it, they had to take the fenders off the Jeep. And it just doesn't look right. On the road, as a road-going vehicle, it just doesn't look right for that. I get it if you're going to be trailing, doing off-road stuff, and you're not going to be running it on road. But it just, I was driving down the road, and it was ahead of me, and I was catching up to it, and I was just like, what is that? And when I got up to it, it was just, I don't know. It doesn't look right.
I agree with that. If you're gonna purpose build it, take the fenders off so you don't rip them off. Yeah, I'm cool with that. But if you're just taking them off because your tires are going to rub going down the interstate because they're too big, that's not really me.
No.
And I build useless stuff every day.
The question,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, I can't really say much about it. I mean, we build cars that go to car shows and sit there and drive some. So I mean, I know what it's about, but I drive a useless Tahoe. You can't really haul nothing in it but two people, but it looks cool. So if that person thinks it looks cool and they like it, hey, more power to you.
Well, this first-time viewer is really popping us up some questions here. And, is there a fine line on offset to width?
RJ, shut up.
What?
Oh, great. It's one of Will's friends, isn't it?
What's considered too much lift in the classic genre? Hey, Bigfoot had a massive lift, and he's a 74 pickup. So he was running. What size of wheels was on the original 1974 Bigfoot?
Ooh. You're the man with the computer in front of you, John.
Well, that's just
I should rephrase that. The computer that can actually handle doing research at the same time as podcasting, because I know my internet speed can't handle that.
I just laid out big bucks for another router. House isn't big enough for a mesh system, and it seems to be working so far. But they had, well, you want to talk big? The 74 Bigfoot ran 3 different tire sizes. Where did it go? 44, 66, and 120. So I guess 120-inch wheel and tire package is probably about as big as you should go.
Well, and it also comes down to what Will and I were just talking about, which is, what is your purpose in the end? Because there are laws about what you can run on the street, how road clearance laws. You know, how high can your bumper be? How high can certain parts of the body be? Huh?
Headlights is a big thing.
Yeah, your headlights, how they're aimed, you know, and we're seeing that with the, I guess what originally was called the California show truck. Now it's called the Carolina Squat. Do I have that right?
Yeah,
Yep.
something like that.
Anyway, yeah, they're coming down on them for the headlight level, you know, not having it aimed right. And of course, also the visibility of that type of sit. So it really comes down to, in the end, what do you, in my opinion, I'll say, and Will, you might have a different opinion, but it comes down to what's the purpose, you know, or are you a show vehicle that's going on and off a trailer and only onto the show field or in the, you know, show building, or are you trying to drive the thing down the road, or are you trying to put it on a racetrack? You know, it's going to be probably different answers for each use.
Yep. And I will say, not every car that's come out of Big Oak Garage has been 100% legal, but most of the stuff that comes out of here is, you know, 100% legal, that meets the requirements of a car from whatever state, you know, this person comes from. So technically everything we do is street legal. And most of them are even updated to have even better equipment than what they came with factory. So most of our cars do leave with seat belts and better steering and bigger brakes and better engine and trans combos and stuff like that, tires. So, you know, I'm a big fan of driving your car. I hate one-to-one scale models, but some people, they want to push their car off and on a trailer and never crank it, never drive it, and just show it. And if that's what you like, that's awesome. You know, I have nothing bad to say about that. I would rather somebody be into that's actual hands-on automobile stuff than, you know, just going out and doing nothing.
Yeah. Sorry, I got tied up on my Bigfoot research. I was incorrect. Bigfoot 2 was the first truck to run 66-inch tires. And then Bigfoot, I think we get to Bigfoot 5, built in 1986, was designed for use with 10-foot tall Firestone Tundra tires. And then Bigfoot 7 was built specifically for the movie Roadhouse, where it destroyed a new car showroom and crushed 4 new cars in a scene that cost $500,000, shot in one take, and also used in Tango and Cash. And then in 95, it was modified to fit the 10-foot tall tires and was sold to somebody who went broke, and now it's on display in Kissimmee, Florida. So, sorry, I just curious about where the tires went and the trucks went. So,
still not the most epic movie scene of destruction of a car dealership. Sorry. The original Gone in 60 Seconds is probably one of the best.
Well, there was a lot of destruction in that, but we got to be careful talking about that. It might be copyrighted, trademarked.
I'm just saying the name of the movie, the original version. Watch it.
May or may not have a yellow Mustang in it with a name.
Yes. There was also another fantastic movie with a lot of chase scenes and damage is being done, and they were brothers that like to sing the blues.
That's a good topic for a future show. I'm going to write that one down, Caleb, on where will hot rodding go with the age demographic changing each year. I don't even want to touch on that. I don't want to touch on that one now. I think we could go 15 minutes on that, and we are approaching, I believe, that 60-minute mark. It says 59:17 in the corner. And what type headlight should I use on my horrid Pinto? I don't think you should use headlights on that.
I think you just duct tape a couple flashlights to the hood, don't you?
Are those 6-volt plastic flashlights you pick up at Home Depot for 2 for $2.98?
Actually, if you get the Fisher Price ones, you can change the color of the lenses to like red or green every time you stop. You can get out and change the color.
Or you go retro and you drive in reverse and let the flames light the way.
I would just go get one of those huge light bars that these big monster trucks have on them. These tooted out Carolina lean trucks, and just put it on the roof.
Big 1,000-watt LED light bars.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I had a horrid Pinto.
I got a friend who just got a
and then I would put it out
Baja
in the field
Beetle
and
that
shoot
has
guns
that
at it.
Yeah.
How many candle power do we need?
Candle.
Well, Derek, don't yours actually literally have one candle power?
I don't have any cars with candle power lights yet. I'll get there. Give me time. I'll get there.
Well, Caleb said, and I was just saying that I have a friend who just bought a Baja Bug that uses one of those LED light bars too. But that could be kind of cool to pop the headlights out and just replace the grill and the headlights with one of those big, long light bars. But I'm not the automotive stylist here. I'm just the podcast host. And I was going to kind of say, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. I've had fun tonight. I don't know if we've accomplished anything or made a hill of beans to the world.
Nope.
I guess I might start showing up at some car shows locally. So watch out for me. I really would put Eat Crow on my license plates, but I love my podcast license plate or tag, depending where you live. So I probably will stay with podcast, but Eat Crow would be very appropriate because I have not said a lot of nice things about Minnie for many, many, many years. But that's good. I want to congratulate Will again on his win. He talks about, winning and winning and winning, but, I knew this guy 22 years ago, and he just 18-year-old partying kid, and he's kind of made something of himself, and there's a touch of jealousy in this guy. And Derek's okay too. So
kind of made himself.
Follow the Facebook page, No Driving Gloves. Check out the website, nodrivinggloves.com. Links to all the shows. If there's a video with the show, it's paired with the show anymore. So you can watch or listen there. You can find links to YouTube, Facebook. Might have the Instagram up there too. And like I said, start watching the Instagram and learning about the history of the automobile. We might even forewarn you. Derek's idea makes a lot of sense. Tell you the day before. That way you can go impress your friends at work. But I had fun tonight, guys. I'm out of here.
Adios.
See you guys.
Oh, hi, Jimmy. I guess that's Will's dad.
Somebody from Hoax Bluff is actually watching.
Whoa, we got a Hoax Bluff listener.
Well, and that's the guy we yelled at the beginning for not listening.
That's right.
We're out of here.
Must have been burning.